Good morning. Welcome to Superior Sunrise. For 25 years, Superior Livestock Auction has been marketing cattle for people to people. Superior Livestock Auction, America's leader in livestock marketing. And now, here's Katie Kaufman.
Good morning and welcome to Superior Sunrise live from Week in the Rockies in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Today, I'll bring you the latest news in the livestock industry, interesting facts about this beautiful state of Colorado, and preview what we have to offer today in the auction. Coming up, a recap of yesterday's auction with Superior Livestock Representative Tom Odell. Week in the Rockies and Superior Livestock, just how long we've been coming here and why Steamboat Springs is so important to us. We'll delve into the history of this great town and even share fun facts with you about the Colorado River. I'll interview Paul Branch, longtime friend and employee of Superior Livestock, and I'll visit with Vince Rosa, Director of Group Sales of the Sheridan Resort right here in Steamboat Springs. Later, we'll see young American rancher Jace Stout, and Ralph Wade and I will close Sunrise today with a cattle preview, and it's all coming up right here on Sunrise. Stay with us.
Livestock, our recognized branded preconditioning program helping to ensure that high-value, healthy calves are delivered to your buyers. SelectVac includes programs for weaned calves, calves on cows, and calves from various locations. Vaccinate your calves with trusted brand name vaccines like Movishield Gold 5, Cattle Master, One Shot, and Dectomax, and reap the benefit of improved calf health and productivity. To take advantage of the power, safety, and efficiency of SelectVac, call Superior Livestock at 800-422-2117.
Joining me now is Mr. Tom Odell, Superior Livestock Representative, and you're going to give us just a quick recap of yesterday's offering.
Yeah, Katie, we had a very active market yesterday. We had over 79 buyers bid and buy, and the cow market was tremendous. We sold the high-selling set of Red Angus bred heifers, brought $15.75. Our fall calving cows range from $13.25 to $14.60. So our cow market was very active yesterday. I'm going to call the calves on cows anywhere from 4 to 6 higher, in some instances 10 higher. Florida calves were probably 2 to 4 higher, with the freight being the difference.
And today, what are your predictions on the offering?
You know, the way this deal's going to open today, it looks like corn market's going to be kind of 6 to 8 higher, and it looks like cattle market's going to be 50 to 70 higher. There's not many yearlings out there. We got a few scratches today because of some fires and stuff. So the lack of yearlings, this market's going to be very active today.
Great. Well, Tom, thanks so much for being with us and giving us an update.
Thank you, Katie.
Now, Superior Livestock has called Colorado home to Week in the Rockies for 23 years. In July 1989, Superior Livestock conducted our first weekend in the Rockies in Breckenridge, Colorado. It was a customer appreciation event, and on Thursday we hosted a customer appreciation day, followed by representative training along with motivational speakers. It was a great first turnout some 23 years ago. However, the altitude in Breckenridge proved to be a little hard on the Texans and Louisianans, and a good number of them ended up in the emergency room with altitude sickness. So the following year, we went down the mountain to Vail, Colorado. Now, while Vail was really nice, it proved to be a little too sophisticated for our cowboys. So the following year, we went over the mountain to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Steamboat Springs was and still is a cow town, and Superior felt so welcome by the community and the businesses. In 1996 and a few years after, the cattle market took a downturn, and in an attempt to cut costs, Superior went to Colorado Springs, Denver, and Copper Mountain. It wasn't until 2002 we came back to the beautiful town of Steamboat Springs. We ventured to Park City in 2009, but this time not only Superior, but the businesses and communities wanted us right here back in Steamboat. Through the years, the auction has gone from 2 days with around 50,000 head of cattle to up to 6 days with 350,000 head. Therefore, we now call it Week in the Rockies. Each year consists of 5 or 6 days of auction of selling cattle, and we host our annual steak cookout and our Superior Livestock Representative Awards. The Sheridan Resort and the town of Steamboat Springs are great hosts, and Superior certainly looks forward to coming back each year. Now, just what is it about this beautiful town of Steamboat Springs? It's located just a short 150 miles northwest of Denver, known for some of the best skiing in the United States. But before it became a travel destination, just what was it? Well, being located in the Yampa Valley, it was known as summer hunting ground of the Ute Indians for hundreds of years. The first white men passed through the area in the early 1800s. The name Steamboat Springs is said to have originated in the late 1820s when 3 French trappers traveling along the Yampa River heard a chug-chug sound. Now, thinking they reached a major river, one yelled, "A steamboat!" And upon further investigation, they discovered the sound came from a natural mineral spring to be named Steamboat Springs. Ranching was a primary way of making ends meet for many folks that lived in the Yampa Valley. From cattle, sheep, to wheat and hay production, even coal mining, these industries were a way of life. Until the 1920s, cattle ranching was the largest single industry in the area. And although it may not be the largest nowadays, Superior Livestock brings the cattle market here for a week-long auction year after year. Now, joining me is longtime friend and employee of Superior Livestock, Mr. Paul Branch. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me, Kate.
And I say longtime friend, but you've been here since the start. You're just like the family here.
Well, yeah. Well, Superior had been going 1 year exactly when I joined them as business manager, and it was interesting for you to hear you with your history of our weekend in the Rockies, and it did start as a weekend, and I was there at Breckenridge for the first training session and whatnot, and then to see it go to a 5 and 6 day auction is just absolutely tremendous.
Truly incredible. And when you came on to Superior Livestock, you actually had been working for the LMA, the Livestock Marketing Association, for 10 years. And when this startup company, what in the world made you come over here?
Well, I was in Kansas City, Missouri at Livestock Marketing Association. And, of course, I was born and raised in Texas, and those winters in Kansas City just got to me. And so when Jim Odell and Buddy called me and said, would you be interested in joining Superior, brand new idea, a lot of people said, you're an absolute fool because this is nothing more than a flash in the pan. And, of course, they're sort of eating their words now. But I was ready to come back to Texas.
Well, my goodness. Would you have ever thought in 1989 and when this whole thing got started that we would be here right now with Video Satellite Auction being the leader in livestock marketing of load lots of cattle?
Well, actually, when I joined Superior and I saw, the quality of our reps out there, and then, of course, with Jim and Buddy and their leadership and their desire for integrity and honesty and doing what's right as far as marketing cattle, I said, this has got to work. There's no way it's not going to work.
You were more than qualified for your position as business manager. You graduated from Texas A&M, I believe, and then you went on to get your master's degree in business.
Yeah, well, actually, as I said, my brother says I've got more degrees than a thermometer because, I got my bachelor's at A&M and then a master's at University of Missouri in animal science and then an MBA at Midwestern University.
Working at Superior Livestock, they say you're retired, but you're here at every single auction all day long. You just can't get rid of this place.
Well, no, now this is the fun part. For 20 years I was had to stay there at Fort Worth and sort of handle the front lines during the auction. But now Judy and I come up and work the auctions and get to see all these people that in many cases I talked to for 20 years over the telephone, never met them. And so it's been fun and then I also see the reps. A lot of these northern reps we don't get to see very often because they don't come to our Fort Worth sales. So it's just a lot of fun.
Speaking of your wife, your beautiful bride, Judy, she worked at Superior for quite some time, but talk to us about how you met Judy.
Well, Judy was the sales manager for the Stockyards Hotel there in Fort Worth, and so we, at that time, most of our reps and whatnot and our guests would stay there at the Stockyards Hotel, and that's how we met there in Fort Worth.
And I know the reps always teased her because they said, what about you?
Well, they said, how can you marry that grouchy old man? That's what she said, and they're probably right, you know.
Well, it is truly a family affair here for you at Superior Livestock. Actually, behind the camera is your grandson.
Right, Mitch.
And directing the show this morning is your
son-in-law, Joe. Right, yeah. And then, of course, Heather, our daughter, worked for Superior also. So we try to keep it all in the family.
I have a funny story that you don't know that I know, but Mr. Odell informed me that when you were interviewing for Superior Livestock, you went on a dinner. And Michelle.
Oh, yes. the Odels, they will get to you if you give them a chance. And I had a suit on and tie, and we went up to the old spaghetti warehouse there in Fort Worth. And Michelle, Ted's wife, said, Paul, you know, there's a cup of butter. And she said, would you smell this? I don't think it smells very good. And I went like that, and she went, boop, like, you know, and I had butter all over my face, my glasses, and everything else. It's taken me 20 years, but I'm still going to get even with her one of these days.
Well, we thank you so much, and we have to tell the viewers at home, all around the Sheridan Resort this morning, there is huge construction going on. I know that this has been going on. Was it here last year also?
Not that one right there, but you know, Judy and I talk about it. When we came here the very first time, I mean, all of these condos, there was nothing here. Really, the resort, the Sheridan Resort, was about the only thing up here, and just the development here since we've been coming up here is just absolutely unreal.
Well, it's my first time in Steamboat, and I have to say I am so blown away by the landscape. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
Well, of course, you know, from Fort Worth and Texas, as hot as it is down here, we have windows open, and Judy says, it's cold. And I said, well, enjoy it while you can, because we're going back to Texas after this.
That's right. Packing all those jackets and scarves, I loved it. Well, thank you again so much, Paul.
Okay, bye-bye.
And Sunrise will be right back.
Hornflies irritate cattle and can negatively affect the profit of your beef operation. Financial losses include decreased weight gains, feed efficiency, and milk yields. For as little as 3 to 5 cents per head per day, Alta Saddaji IGR is a feed-through that goes to work in cattle manure where hornflies lay their eggs. Alta Saddaji IGR prevents hornfly larvae from developing into breeding, biting adults. Help keep your cattle peaceful, profitable, and hornfly-free with Alta Saddaji IGR in your supplement program. To learn more, call your feed dealer today.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, long hauls, never-ending chores. The unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W.
In the state of Colorado, I thought it'd be only fitting to talk about some of its beautiful landscapes that has made this state internationally known. For example, the Colorado River, a huge body of water that flows more than 1,450 miles, and its basin covers approximately 246,000 square miles. It runs through parts of Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, California, and even Mexico. One of the first to explore the Colorado River was John Wesley Powell in 1869. A small group began their trip from Green River, Wyoming, eager to report their findings. Despite rapid waters and some that were even larger than their boat, they traveled 1,000 miles in 2 short months. Almost 150 years later, many people still challenge the raging waters as an adventure to document the incredible landscape. Each year, more than 22,000 river runners nestle down in their raft to travel like John Wesley Powell did so many years ago. And talking about the beautiful state of Colorado and the town of Steamboat Springs, I thought it'd be only fitting to visit with Director of Group Sales, Mr. Vince Rosa of the Sheridan Resort. Vince, thank you so much for joining me today on Sunrise.
Well, you're welcome, Katie. Thanks for having us. It's a great group to have here.
Well, we sure appreciate you having us year after year, and you've been dealing with Superior Livestock since we've been coming here for the last couple years. And talk to me about the importance of the partnership that the Sheridan and the Superior Livestock family has.
Well, I'd love to. Yeah, I've been fortunate to be here twice in my career, the last 14 years. Having Superior come this time of year, it means everything to us from really many different levels, from how friendly everybody is. Our staff will say after they leave, we wish every group was that nice or spent that much money or was just here for so long too. So it's a very important group to us to have, and it's a lot of fun to bring them back year after year.
Do you have an estimated number of how much traffic comes through here for our week?
Oh yeah, they start off about a couple of hundred people early in a week, and it builds up to 300, 400, 500. I've got stories from banquet managers up to 900 people in the early days. So it kind of ebb and flows with, I think, with the economy or what's happening. So it's a lot of fun to see, 600, 700 people having a steak fry dinner, and our staff is out there with them and just enjoying the whole event.
Well, talk to us. I'm sure you have some funny story about reps. I know they travel inside the lobby, go through to the bar and restaurant many times. Can you share with us any great stories you have?
Well, I have a good one. It kind of falls on our side, but I had a sales manager that walked through the hotel at one point giving a tour to a future customer. It wasn't related to this industry, but it was another customer, so he walks in the ballroom. And this guy was pretty new. He came from Las Vegas, and we told him, just keep your hands down because, this is a live auction. So truly, he walks into the ballroom with the client, starts speaking with his hands like I'm doing now, and one of the auctioneers called him out, and not even intentionally, and said, once they figured out what happened, he said, son, I think you just bought yourself a whole lot of cattle. And he turned red, embarrassed, and that story we've talked about forever. But so it interrupted the sale a little bit, but we've been a lot better at that. So that's a classic story we love to share.
Tell all the employees, keep your hands down, that's for sure, coming in the ballroom. Now, we did venture to Park City in 2009 after we were here in Steamboat Springs, and I understood that it just, with the cost of everything, it got to be just a little expensive. However, the community really rallied to your hotel to really bring us back here because of how the businesses thrive when we're here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It wasn't only the town, it was our regional, our corporation. Why the big hole now in late June or early July? What happened to that group? Not everybody might remember the name of the group, but they sure remember what everyone looked like cowboy hats and everything. Where are they? And it went all the way up to our regional corporation. Why can't we get them back? But I walk around town and people say, is that group coming back? So it was a very easy decision for us. We just had to change some price points, how we do business, and really begged them to come back, and we hope they come back. So it's a good fit for the town. It's a good fit for the Sheraton, our employees, and we just all love coming to work here, especially this week. It's a lot of fun.
Well, we have a great time, and can you tell us, I know the viewers at home can't see, and I spoke with Paul about the construction going on around here, and when we had our rehearsal this morning, they weren't all fired up and moving around all their heavy equipment, but do you know what they're doing over there?
I sure do. This has been about a 4-year project they're working on, and they can only do it, obviously, May, June, July, and August. It's called the Promenade. We're really trying to not just make this a winter destination, this whole base area in front of the hotel. We actually opened up a creek that's been there it's been buried since 1970. They want to raise it, make it flow on top of the ground, a little natural day lighting, an amphitheater, a gazebo, just to make it more inviting to go out there and just enjoy the beauty where we sit. So it's going to be a gathering area, a walking way, one way to get from Lower Gondola Square to all the restaurants and some of the bars up top. So it's pretty exciting. It should be done this year. You shouldn't see it next year.
Well, good. Well, Vince, thank you so much for being with us this morning on Sunrise, and we sure love all the hospitality you give us here at the Sheraton.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And don't go anywhere. Sunrise will be right back after this. Superior Livestock's annual Video Royale cattle auction in Winnemucca, Nevada is coming to RFD TV. More than 200,000 head of the finest calves, yearlings, and bred stock will be offered from some of the best ranches in the West. To get your bidder number, call 800-422-2117 or click to superiorlivestock.com. Come join us in Winnemucca, Nevada, where buyers, producers, and friends gather as Superior Livestock brings the Western States cattle market to you. In a quaint town about 80 miles west of Pueblo, Colorado, where the population is not more than 1,000, we visited Hill Land and Livestock. Sioux Watch, Colorado is the home to a young, determined cowboy named Jace Stout. From his ranching skills to his love of rodeo, this 13-year-old has proven he is a young American rancher. Growing up on his family's horse and cattle ranch, Jace is learning the ropes from training horses to shipping cattle.
Every day of the summer and weekends here, I'm with Grandpa and working with him and my aunts and uncles and my 4-H cattle. And my dad, I go and ship with him during the fall sometimes and help him quite a bit.
Jace's most recent 4-H project is his Angus and Limousine cross steer named Russell, or as Jace calls him, Chunky Monkey. This is just one of many steers that Jace works with, and they all come straight from their ranch. Jace really enjoys 4-H and having the opportunity to meet new friends and learn more about livestock.
It kind of teaches you to pursue working with your animal because it's a summer-long job in spring. And it teaches you to work with your animal daily so that he's used to you and he likes you and you know what makes him comfortable and what doesn't.
Though 4-H takes up a majority of Jace's time, he loves to rodeo and competes throughout the state of Colorado. He was named Rookie of the Year and was fortunate to qualify for the National Junior High Rodeo Finals held in Gallup, New Mexico.
I'm in the breakaway, team roping, goats, and ribbon roping. And this year, as being the Rookie of the Year, I qualified in the goats, breakaway, and team roping to go to national finals.
This humble young rancher was quick to credit his achievements to his faith in God and the love and support he receives from his family. Jace attends a small Christian school about an hour north of the family's ranch.
God's a big part of my life. It pretty much goes God, family, school, and rodeo and 4-H are the order of my lives, and family is a big part of my life. And I just enjoy being around them and doing stuff that I love, and that's ranching.
As the family's cattle business continues, so will Jace's involvement in the day-to-day operations. It's only obvious to see the love and compassion this family has for rural America. And Jace is a perfect example that there are still many young ranchers across the country wanting to be a part of our Western heritage and the American way of life. Superior Livestock's annual Video Royale cattle auction in Winnemucca, Nevada is coming to RFD TV. More than 200,000 head of the finest calves, yearlings, and bred stock will be offered from some of the best ranches in the West. To get your bidder number, call 800-422-2117 or click to superiorlivestock.com. Come join us in Winnemucca, Nevada, where buyers, producers, and friends gather as Superior Livestock brings the Western States cattle market to you.
Hey guys, Bad Boy's done it again. Me, MTV by Bad Boy Mower.
It's performance with Bad Boy. And this on-the-fly 4x4 all-new gas-powered off-road rocket is making a splash. With trail-absorbing suspension and 4-wheel hydraulic brakes, this 28-horse liquid-cooled direct-drive MTV was designed by pros but will take you anywhere. All for just $74.95.
That's the MTV by Bad Boy Mowers. Ride with an attitude.
Try it for 60 days and let's see the difference it'll make in your animal.
You have an all-in-one feed, it makes all the difference in the world.
It's been a very good product for us.
My chickens are really great layers, and I think that's because of how I feed them. They look more complete, they fill out really well.
You get exceptional gain, you get exceptional growth.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
Take the 60-day challenge and save up to $55 on Purina feed. Sign up at purinadifference.com.
Horn flies irritate cattle and can negatively affect the profit of your beef operation. Financial losses include decreased weight gains, feed efficiency, and milk yields. For as little as 3 to 5 cents per head per day, Alta IGR is a feed-through that goes to work in cattle manure where horn flies lay their eggs. Alta IGR prevents horn fly larvae from developing into breeding, biting adults. Help keep your cattle peaceful, profitable, and horn fly free with Alta IGR in your supplement program. To learn more, call your feed dealer today.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, the long hauls, the never-ending chores, the unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W.
Hey there, we're back here on Sunrise this morning, and now joining me is Mr. Jim Farley and his son Josh. They're from Green Coast Springs, Florida, and they've traveled quite some way to get here in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Jim and Josh, thank you so much for being with us this morning on Sunrise. Jim, you've been with Superior Livestock since the start, really. Talk to us about the quality of cattle that have changed since the early days in the late 80s to what you're seeing now.
Well, you know, in Florida, we've always been in a situation down there where we could come up with loads of cattle. In the 20-something years that I've been with Superior, I've seen loads of cattle turn to good loads of cattle. I think Superior, folks like myself, we're in the ranching business, watch these cattle sell on TV, and we see a grade of cattle bring more than ours was bringing. We started bull shopping. And we've seen our quality of cattle go from cattle that, when they were purchased in Florida, they kind of need to go to Southern California all the way to Southern Texas. Our cattle nowadays, big number of them end up in the Midwest, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska. So we've changed the quality of the breed a whole lot over the last 15 years. The innovation of shots now, age source verification, all. We're now, instead of struggling to get our cattle sold as good as we can in comparison to the rest of the country, we're now in the mainstream field of marketing our cattle, you know, on the front end.
Now, Josh, you've grown up in the cattle business, especially having a father like Jim. Talk to us about growing up in the cattle business and how a normal kid probably all over the United States doesn't have the opportunity to grow up in a ranching family.
Well, you know, growing up, all I knew was the ranching and the cattle industry, and you know, looking back on it now, 30 years old, and I can't see a better lifestyle to raise a kid in, and look forward to raising mine in the same atmosphere I was raised in.
Your dad did tell on you just a little bit. He said when you were younger, you didn't have any chores. You were just stuck in the cattle pens all day.
That's about right. I was doing what needed to be done and whatever he said, pretty much.
Yeah. So. Well, that's probably a good way to be, being a young son. And Jim, you have a story that you want to share with us.
Yeah, you know, being with Superior since '87 or whatever. Paul Branch was here a while ago. A little story on Paul. Paul was a troubleshooter. And it took me a little getting used to Paul Branch when I come on board. When the phone rang and this is Paul Branch, your antenna better go up. He called one morning before a sale the next day. He said, Jim Farley, he said, I'm called Tommy Mann, I've called all y'all. He said, we've got a chore tomorrow. And I said, what's that, Paul? He said, we've got 10,000 head of cattle to sell tomorrow. I said, yeah, that's a bunch of them. He said, if you know anybody, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, or somebody bid on these cattle, he said, you get busy. 10,000 head, and we got 200,000. That's a big old jump.
That's right. Now, I've been told that Florida cowboys are called Florida crackers. Now, I need you to elaborate on that. I'm from California, and don't hold that against me, but I need some answers.
I guess the best definition of that is, before these, the main source of communication on cowboys and people living way off in remote areas in the country was communicating with cow whips. And I would leave my place 5 o'clock in the morning. Sweet Moody'd leave his place. We'd meet up at Baton Bay He'd pop his whip, I'd pop mine. We knew where we were at, and we'd go after cattle. People think we beat the cattle. We don't do that. We send our dogs out there, and they can't hear us call them back. We'll snap the whip, and they'll come back. And it's evolved over the years, you know. Everybody learned to crack a cow whip when they was born. And from the time those little fellas up, my mama could crack a cow whip. My granddaddy said my mama was so good with a cow whip, she'd walk the nurse cow out the lot to the field, and she could take and crack a horsefly off a old Jersey cow's back. She could put a crop in the right ear and a swallow fort in the left ear, and the fly would never leave her back. That's how good she was with a cow whip. But it's just part of our lifestyle.
Well,
so we're Florida crackers.
We thank you so much for being with us on Sunrise. But before I let you guys go, now tell everyone at home how the only way I got you on here this morning.
She promised me, and I'm going to hold her to it, and Joe Litsky and Ralph Wade has held it to, she's going to autograph my snuff can. There was a deal made to get us on TV this morning.
Well, thank you guys so much, and good luck selling your cattle today, and thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.
And now we're trying something new on Superior Sunrise. Message me a question or questions that you may have on our Superior Livestock Superior Productions Facebook page. Just go to Facebook, look us up, and any questions you have about Colorado, Steamboat Springs, or the cattle market, I'll try and find the answer. If your question is picked, you'll receive a Superior surprise package from your friends at Superior. Get your thinking caps on, and you be sure to message me. Well, now it's time for today's cattle preview, and joining me now is world champion auctioneer Mr. Ralph Wade. And Ralph, when we were rehearsing, you said you wanted to come in stage right. You're the only one that's done that this morning. You needed a little bit different entrance, I see.
You know, just kind of relax back there and kind of see what's going on. I can see better from this side over here.
Well, today we're offering regions 1 through 6, all their feeder steers and feeder heifers. Talk to us about what you're looking at and what you're wanting to see this morning.
Well, of course, Katie, you know, the big thing is that this is our yearling day, and we're selling a little over 60,000 yearlings. It all begins like yesterday with the cow-calf man, and of course that's the guy that's closest to my heart, is that one that raises that baby calf and brings them up. And these folks, they buy these, turn them out on the pastures that run from the Canadian border to the Gulf Coast, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. And we've got reps all out in that country that cover that ground and work with these yearling people. But it all goes back to the value-added programs that Superior has implemented, the all-naturals and that these yearling people can do. They come from a wide range of grasses and from the sand hills of Nebraska down through the Flint Hills of Kansas, the Osage, the mountain country in this country, Montana. We'll be selling yearlings off all that different grasses and different areas and geographic parts of the United States. It's going to be a great day. We've got a great market. Our numbers are down. Our cow numbers are down, as everybody knows, across the country, and our yearling numbers will be down, so we should have a really, really good market, as Tommy iterated to you a little bit ago.
Great. Now, just changing gears just a little bit, the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship just got over in South Carolina. Charlie Cummings did come out the champion, and I understand that you know Charlie from judging him in previous years.
I had the opportunity to judge Charlie last year at the Kansas State Association. They have a contest to win, and Charlie, of course, he won it, and he was way out front. Charlie's a great auctioneer, very versed in the livestock industry and knows the livestock industry very well. I've watched Charlie over the years develop some. I don't know that he knows that, but he's a great auctioneer. He done a great job. I thought last year I had the opportunity to watch him, and as far as his auction part of it, last year I was very impressed with him at that contest, and then this year he comes back and wins it, and I think that's great.
Well, we are going to be showing and recapping the whole World Livestock Auctioneer Championship on the American Rancher July 18th. So I know you were recently on there, so you need to make sure and set your TiVo so you can watch the WLAC.
Oh, yeah, I will do it, without a doubt. I'll sure be watching that.
Great. Well, we thank all of you at home for joining us today on Sunrise. We'll be back right here tomorrow morning, 30 minutes prior to the auction from the beautiful city of Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I'll bring you the latest information on the livestock industry and interview more Superior Livestock representatives like Ralph Wade, and we'll close Sunrise with the cattle auction preview of what we'll be offering tomorrow. Now we're just minutes away from today's auction, but before we sell that first lot, please remove cover and stand for the playing of our national anthem.